You are now watching the Movie Juice Podcast.
The juice is loose.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Movie Juice Podcast. I'm Dylan.
I'm Kyle.
And I'm James.
Movie Juice! Movie Juice! Movie Juice! Movie Juice! Movie Juice!
I went one too many.
Hey,
The movie!
what a train wreck this is starting off to be.
That's a big robot.
Fuck, man.
That's why I was doing the robot.
I know he's not doing the robot. And I was like, oh, that's a good time to do it.
We'll quote the movie at the beginning.
Yeah, dude.
All right.
That was fun. That was a good little.
I think that train wreck was pretty good. Because
It goes well with the movie.
It does. Yeah.
Because this week,
Because of the NFL football season starting, we decided to do
the
The
longest yard.
Get a W in the chat for football season. Finally back. We haven't talked about it much because this is a movie podcast, but we are three boys that love the NFL.
I was doing the ESPN one, even
I
though,
like it.
even though the Fox one came to my head, but my mouth went with ESPN.
That's not that. Fuck. That's not the NFL.
No, it's fine.
No, it is.
It's the final countdown.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Fuck.
Well, to be fair,
it started like NFL, but
be
then
fair,
I think it evolved.
I think that's where the Fox got theirs, which is
Yeah.
the final countdown, because it's kind of similar.
No, this is important.
Anyway,
Sports Center, actually.
I'd like to talk a little bit about this movie just to begin with. It's
Oh, yeah?
very much, it's very nostalgic for me. My brother and I used to watch this movie a lot whenever we were kids,
Hell yeah.
which is weird. We had it on VHS, and we watched it.
Yeah.
We fell asleep to it like every night for probably a year.
Fuck yeah.
You know, that's why I know
Yeah.
this movie so fucking
A
well.
lot of Adam Sandler
I used
movies
to
are
fall
good
asleep.
comfort movies.
I used to fall asleep to Good Burger.
Yeah. I used to fall asleep when I was a kid, maybe like Iron Giant, but then when I got older, it was Superbad. I would always just watch Superbad, throw it on, and go to sleep.
Yeah, man, I've straight up, I've probably seen this movie 50 times
Shit.
in my life. Like,
I've seen it like maybe 10.
that's probably why, and I don't watch it as much now, but that's probably why, I immediately remembered, the whole fucking thing.
The past
You
few
know?
years, I would come visit my mom, and it would just be on TV. So I've watched the TV version of it. I forgot how fucking hilarious it is, not edited.
Dude, it is a genuinely funny fucking movie.
It is.
It's before Adam Sandler's movies had that weird fall off for a
Yep.
while.
Agreed. Pretty much
Like-
after Jack and Jill.
Well, yeah, I think it kind of
Well,
starts.
I think Grown Ups was his last real good one.
Yeah, me too. Because you still get Click after this. You still
Yep.
get which I don't really care for. I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry.
Same,
But
yeah.
that does
It's
come
it's
out.
Good.
It's
not bad.
funny.
It's funny, but it's aged terribly.
It really has.
Anger Management.
Anger Management's before this.
Okay, my bad.
Anger Management is also
It's
another,
underrated in my opinion.
It's another. It's
when
another
it comes
one of
to
those.
his movies.
Will and I also had that
Yeah.
one on VHS and fell asleep to it a lot too. That's a great one. We
still
should
got,
talk about that one. another
Bedtime
time.
Stories was after this too.
I never saw that one.
That one, I liked it. It wasn't
Yeah.
bad, actually.
Wasn't that like a kids movie?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It wasn't bad, though.
it was rare territory for him.
Then the Cobbler comes out after.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's it.
That's a weird one.
But it's not bad. And
No.
I really like Pixels. It's like that. It's like that fucking Joker meme. I'm tired of pretending that Pixels isn't kind of a good
It's
movie.
not bad.
It's not bad. It's fun.
Dude, my mom loves Pixels.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Me and two other friends, I took them to see Straight Outta Compton, and then we immediately went to go watch Pixels
Hell yeah.
afterwards.
I saw it with my
because
mom and
we
dad.
could.
I think. Yeah.
But I guess I just wanted to bring up how, and then also with the MTV productions, the astronauts sitting in the theater,
Yeah.
very nostalgic for me. And the
Yep.
fucking God, what is it? It's the dude hitting the golf ball. And
Terrific.
Happy
Terrific.
Happy Madison
Happy
Productions.
Happy Madison Productions,
Terrific.
so much of that is.
I
Just,
quote it every time I watch that.
Terrific.
Terrific.
It's supposed.
Speaking of
it's,
which,
it's
Happy Gilmore 2 coming soon.
Kyle Newacek.
Yeah,
is
gonna
the
direct it.
director,
That's
yeah.
pretty
He
exciting.
directs the
Workaholics.
that and
Game Over, man.
no, the show.
What We Do in the Shadows.
What We Do in the
There we
Shadows.
go.
Yeah. I couldn't think of the name of it.
That's a
I
good,
kept
that's a
naming
good
off all the
show.
other stuff.
That's a good
Yeah.
show. I've seen Game Over, man.
Hell yeah, nice.
It's pretty funny.
It's not bad. I liked it.
Apparently
What were
there
you
was-
gonna say before that though? I made me to cut you off. I'm sorry.
Oh, and Game Over, man. That's not a prosthetic penis. That's just literally
That's
how.
literally Adam Devine's penis.
Yeah,
But
it's
yeah,
got a
man.
hog on him.
If I had a nickel for every episode we've talked about Workaholics at the beginning of the episode, I'd have 2 nickels.
Yeah, well,
At least.
Anyway.
so far.
That's true. We do love that show.
Because I mean,
you and me. not
Adam's
James.
been in a few movies. I'm sure we'll eventually stumble on one of them.
We'll do Jexy. I'm just kidding.
Oh. Pitch Perfect 1.
No, we'll start with 3 for no reason.
Well, I don't think he's in 3.
Fuck, I don't know.
I think he's only in the first 2.
We'll do Bumper Goes to Berlin, our
Well,
first season of television.
I was gonna say we're movie juice, not TV juice.
Yep.
Yet.
Nah, probably it's
No,
probably
probably
not.
not.
That'd be crazy.
That would be wild. Anyway.
Jeff would hate us.
So, but yeah, it's really nostalgic for me. And then the movie starts. It's the fucking hot lady in the pool.
We didn't do the recommend yet.
Oh, of course. Yes.
For sure.
For fucking sure.
This is a fucking classic.
And okay, so it doesn't matter if you like football. Either.
No, it's not.
This movie's great.
Yeah.
It's just a good fuck. Like I
You
like
get more
this
enjoyment
movie.
out of it if you are a football fan.
I agree.
But it doesn't take anything away either.
No,
No.
because I liked this movie as a kid, and I didn't like football as a kid.
Yeah, same.
Like-
We would go to a Panthers game occasionally when I was a kid, but like I never was like watching it every Sunday like I did. I think I only really started doing that in like after I graduated high school in like 2015.
Yep.
Before that, I really didn't watch football.
I
every
started
Sunday.
liking football whenever I started playing football in high school.
That's fair.
Yep.
I started playing fantasy football. That's when I really got into it. Yeah, I would watch football on Sundays with Mom, and then I would just watch it. But I didn't really get into football until I started playing fantasy football. But I didn't get into fantasy football until after I watched the league.
Nice, which of course is a great show.
Yeah,
I think I started playing fantasy in high school, but I didn't.
because I had graduated and I asked you if you wanted to play.
I didn't really start getting into it until we started playing together, and then
Yeah.
I always like wanted to, like when I finally got into football, but like I never had the friends to do it with until we became friends.
And
now we've had our fucking
League
league
for
for like
years.
10 years.
And now we have the belt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the belt and the Carmike Dick Kickers. I can't change the name because whenever I made the name, ESPN had 0 rules.
Yeah.
Now they have rules to where you can't actually.
Yeah, it's like if we
Use
change it,
profanity.
we'll never get that back.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna keep it.
Fuck yeah. Even though, like, the years from now, we'll be like, what's a car bike, Daddy? We're like,
You don't understand. You weren't there.
you weren't there.
All
right, so
the
the movie starts. It's hot lady in the swimming pool, and my first note is movie has awesome soundtrack.
Yep.
And then it's a hyphen, no doubt, fire.
Mine movie starts with a house party, and then I put Courtney Cox.
Yeah, because as soon as I heard it, I was like, I had totally forgotten that she was in.
Oh
was
yeah,
in at the beginning.
I wrote Courtney Cox being Courtney Cox.
Yeah.
Because like she has a name, but she's literally just Courtney Cox.
Yeah.
Her eyes looked really pretty in this movie, though. I will say that.
I also want to just comment.
They're like weird, they're like
That's-
purple kind of.
They say, yeah, you're good. I just.
I want to comment that, and I'm not trying to sound any type of way, but Courtney Cox used to be really hot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But then she did all that
Used to
shit
be.
to her fucking face.
Yeah.
Like in Scream 6, she looks weird.
yeah.
Like,
I haven't
agree.
seen it in a while. I only saw it the one time.
I rewatched it not that long ago,
Okay.
and yeah, her face looks. It's like, you know, she looks like she could have aged gracefully, but she did a bunch of bullshit.
Right, which is fine, which is fair because like Hollywood people do that, where like
Yeah,
they
but,
fuck up
just
their
haven't-
faces.
They just haven't perfected it yet, so stop doing it.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Zac Efron looks.
Look at Mickey Rourke as an example.
Yeah.
And also look at Zac Efron for a current example.
Yeah, because like he was forced to do it because of
Yeah,
his
he broke-
accident, but like it
Yeah,
looks
but, like-
yeah, it's not.
You should have done some research on a better doctor, my boy.
Yeah,
But so Courtney Cox, she's like walking around talking to her party guests.
Yeah.
And she talks to like her friend. He's a gay man.
Yeah.
oh,
and-
that's my first note. That's the chef from Zack and Cody.
Shit, it was.
Yeah!
Holy shit! I was like, I knew I'd seen him before, and I was like,
Yeah.
I could not think of where I had
You ever
seen
watched
him.
that with Zack and Cody?
Yeah, but
Yeah, like in the early, like he disappears like in the later seasons, but like in the first couple of seasons, he was like the chef in the restaurant when they would go to the restaurant.
the ginger dude with the glasses.
Yeah.
I just remember the big fat guy as the chef.
Maybe he was the waiter then, but I know he was like maybe he was the waiter then. Yeah, yeah, because
Because he's definitely in the show.
Well, there was a big fat guy that was the chef because there was an episode, and I'll never forget it because he has to do blood work and he's unhealthy.
Yeah.
And they ask him how bad was his blood work, and homie goes, "They found bacon bits." and
So I remember this guy because he would be shit talk. Yeah, because he's a waiter. But anyway, my bad. He's talking to Zack and Cody, and they like shit talk. He's like, "Yeah, I'd be angry if I didn't spit in your food." And he's like, "Or did I?" Anyway, yeah.
But this is whenever you find out that Adam Sandler, he goes by Crew. His
Yeah.
name's Paul Crew, I believe. He was an underwear model because he's talking about he says something to Courtney Cox about the gay man says something to Courtney Cox about. Where's your boy toy at? And she's like, oh, I didn't know you liked football because he says he's a big fan, and he was like, oh, well, I was a big fan of his underwear,
Right.
Underwear,
Which is a
ads.
running theme in this movie.
Yeah.
of people liking him
Because I
only
took a
his
note
underwear.
that just says Adam Sandler has big cock.
His name was Walt, by the way.
Walt.
Oh.
Okay, thank you. I will start calling him by his actual name. I couldn't remember.
For the 2 scenes he's in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to find Zach and Cody on here on his IMDb.
And then Courtney goes upstairs and she goes to Adam Sandler and he's sitting in there like beer, eating Lay's, like laying on the bed watching
Watching
an
the
old
game.
football game. Or is it just a new football game? He's watching football.
Yeah.
I think it's like a football game from his past because the way it looks like an
Older.
Yeah, it looks like old and grainy, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
And then like she's bitching at him about how like he's gonna go downstairs and he's like, well, I just want to watch the game. And I wrote a quote down here because she says that football has forgotten about you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She said that to Adam Sandler, or Crew. I need to start calling him by his name in the movie.
Yeah, I'm bad
Yeah.
at that too because I always just call people by the actual
Yeah, for
their
the
actual name.
first couple notes, I have him wrote as Sandler. Then I switched it to Paul.
I switched to Crew later on too. Yeah, like I see where I switched it.
My note taking process, I usually don't use names unless like I need to remember it for a specific
Yeah.
thing. If we're being
Well,
honest.
I also wrote her name in the movie. It's Lena because I put Courtney Cox yells at him to come downstairs and put a suit on, and then we get into
That's
where,
not a suit. That's a fucking.
It's a
that's
fucking
little boy
sailor
suit.
outfit.
yeah.
She
And
has
like-
a sailor outfit for
And
him.
like I was, it was one of those like I hope this doesn't awaken anything in me because I was like it was just kind of hot how she's just like no you're gonna put this fucking thing on and come downstairs and I was like oh tell me what I'm gonna do Courtney Cox okay.
And then he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot about your gift."
Yeah.
She's like, "My gift." Immediately changes.
Yeah.
So she's just, you can tell she's
Attitude
just
instantly
such,
changes. Yeah.
such a bitch.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, you got me a gift.
oh, he got me something? Oh my god. Yeah. I like him again. He's like, "Yeah, it's in there in the closet." She goes in there and he locks her in the fucking closet and then he steals her car.
That's drunkenly takes her Bentley after locking her in the closet.
Yeah. And then he's like driving around and he gets pulled over by the cops.
with huge fucking ears. That's my next note.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because there's
like,
two of them and they both
Yep.
recognize him. And one of them's like talking to him like he's a fan.
Yeah.
And the other one's talking shit to him because he makes fun of doesn't he call him Frodo?
Yeah.
Because he's got the ears.
Got
He's
the
got
big
the,
fucking
Oh
ears.
no,
Dumbo
he was like, "Hey, what kind of reception you get on those?"
Yeah,
and then the other cop's like, "He gets a couple FM channels."
Yeah, like, the other cops are joining in on him.
And then he talks shit to him.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Have you been drinking?" And he's like, he says something, and then he ends up handing him the beer. He's like, "Hold my beer." And then they're like, "Oh," and he's like, "It's okay, you can keep that one. I got 5 more."
I was like, that's fire,
And then
bro.
he
I was like,
takes the fuck
who,
off.
who has the balls to do that to a cop? They're like, oh, that's okay, I got 5 more. You keep that one.
Yeah.
It just fucking zooms
Back
off.
straight into their fucking car.
Yeah.
And then
He's like, oh, it's reported stolen or whatever, and that's when he ends up backing up into their police car to give it a scratch.
yeah.
And then he ends up. It's just like a car chase
Yep,
scene.
yeah,
a
and
small
then-
one.
And then Courtney
she
Cox
calls him on the car phone.
Whatever
and,
her name is,
and
he
then
calls
she
him.
Lena.
yells at him
Lena.
and calls him a piece of shit. And that's when he just slams on the
Yeah,
fucking
he
brakes.
said, because she says, don't get any more scratches on it. And if you get one more scratch on it, he's like, oh yeah, how do you know there's a scratch on it already? She's like, you're on the fucking news.
Yeah, you're on
And
the
then he's like, oh,
TV.
you'll fucking love this. Then he just slams on the brake. And
Like 10 cars just.
Yeah, I just wrote cop car.
I wrote fuck the police because it's like 10 fucking cop cars just slam into that
Cop
thing.
car pile up.
Enough to where when he opens the door just falls off.
Yeah.
And he's like, good news, I didn't spill my beer.
Yeah, I wrote down he didn't spill his beer.
Yeah, I was like, fuck
and
yeah.
then he goes, "Hey, Lena!"
I think we should see other people.
I put don't drink and drive, kids.
good message.
Hey, man. Someone's got to have a good one.
And then they also mentioned that he's on probation right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he was on probation when he did all this, so then he
Yeah.
gets sent to prison.
And then it pans to him on a prison bus in the desert.
Yeah, my next note just says,
And then I find out it's Texas, but what's the
Yeah.
difference?
mine just says
Well, I'm fucked nowhere.
Texas prison, and then like it really builds the world really well in this scene, in my
Yeah.
opinion, because like you immediately see that the guards are just fucking dickheads. Because
Yeah,
he just starts beating up Adam Sandler for nothing.
Because I put my next
Yeah.
note is they beat their inmates more than I beat my dick.
I put
Because literally every scene, some guard
Yeah.
is beating him up with a fucking
Yeah.
nightstick.
I
I'm like, Jesus
I
Christ.
put he gets Spartan kicked off the bus.
Yeah.
Before that, he gets a rifle to the gut.
Yeah, for no fucking reason. But then you find out it's because all those guards had money. He's like, oh yeah, the warden had money on the game and he won a lot of money. And he's like, yeah, but I fucking didn't. And that's when he gets kicked.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, well, I was on the other end of the bet. And he kicks him off the bus.
Yeah, and they
So
talk
like you
about
can tell, like a lot of the guards are pissed that he shaved those, which we didn't talk about. That's why he's all washed up because he shaved points off the game
allegedly.
allegedly.
No, he didn't.
Later,
I was gonna say that.
Jesus Christ, calm down.
later he admits it.
Okay,
This movie's like 19 years old.
I
That's
don't
true.
care. I love this movie.
Yeah, we stopped. We haven't done that.
Oh, we didn't even get into the research part of it. The movie was made on a budget of $90 million, and it made $191.5 million.
Jesus Christ.
So that did pretty good.
Yeah.
This was what, 2007, right?
2005 was the release date. May 27th. So they did not do what we did and waited till football season.
Yeah. That's a fucking, which is weird because this movie does kind of slob football's knob, so it's weird that they didn't wait.
It's also a good summer movie, though, with, like, the atmosphere.
It is.
That's true.
Yeah, they mentioned the point shaving thing, and then they also mentioned that the warden specifically asked for him to come to that prison.
To that prison, yeah.
Yep.
Because he's a really big fan of football. He has a league with his guards that play in football.
They're semi-pro,
Yeah.
which is, I don't know if that would
Weird,
be a real thing. I don't think it would be. And also, the prison is called Allenville, the Allenville Penitentiary.
Yep.
I wrote that down.
I put guard captain takes him to the warden and also hits him in the gut while Stone Cold Steve Austin watches around the corner.
Because he basically says the warden's going to ask you to play football, and when he does, you tell him no.
Tell him no.
Well, because he's like, you tell him, and then Adam Sandler's like, yes? Question mark? And then he fucking beats the shit out of him. And then he says, no, you're going to tell him no.
And then whenever he's talking to the warden, I took a note about one of the things he says.
Well, whenever he goes in there and talks to the warden mentions that it's been 5 years since their last championship. And Crew is like, so you want me to come play? And he's like, no, you're not going to play. I just want you to be a coach or consultant. And this is whenever he's talking about, like, they go out. Are they out there on the field now?
No.
Like, watching them
No,
yet? Okay.
that's the hot box.
No, because like he walks into the office and he points to the fat dude in the white suit and he goes, "Oh, Colonel Sanders is here."
Yeah. He's like, oh yeah, Colonel Sanders, but he eats his own chicken. Like, and then the receptionist lady flirts with him too during this time. She says, I love your underwear, ass.
Yeah.
My husband wore the same ones. She didn't wear them quite as well as you did, though.
He was like,
really
that was
does
all
quote this
special
movie.
effects.
I was like,
One thing the warden does say, he's like, Texas apparently takes two things seriously: football and prison. And I put weird flex, but okay.
that is weird, yeah. It just happens to be that Paul Crew is both of them.
Yeah. And then it just pans to him in the cafeteria, and I was like, mealtime not going very well.
Oh yeah, because he says yes. He says that he'll help. No,
he doesn't.
he doesn't.
No,
he
just
says
said
He
he
came
wants
out
to-
of the hallway. He's like, that'll be all. And then while he's out there sitting, you can hear him yelling at the guard saying, "You get him enthusiastic about trying to do this."
Yeah, and then he beats the fuck out of him.
Yeah.
Because he tells the warden, I just want to do my
Do
time
my
and
3
go home."
years
Yeah.
and leave. Or he doesn't say how much time yet, but
Yeah.
that comes up later. He's like, I want to do my time and get out.
And then it's just him in the cafeteria, and he's just kind of just...
Trying to figure out where to sit, pretty
Well, 'cause
much.
when he gets his food, that one guy's like, only for the best around here.
Yeah, it's Unger,
Yeah.
which he comes up
Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
And then
Asshole.
pretty much the only person that talks to him, I put caretaker and then Chris Rock.
Because he goes to that
Invite-
one table and he puts his tray down and he's like, nope.
Yeah. And invites him to sit and says he can take care of him and get him anything, even McDonald's. And then it pans to Cheeseburger Eddie.
Yeah, dude.
Which
Fucking
is Terry
Terry
Crews.
Crews. One of his best roles.
Agreed.
Okay?
Yeah,
Like,
dude.
and then
They're pretty much talking about something. He just kind of, Paul gets up and just hits another dude in the
does
back
he
of the
hit
head with-
Babyface Bob?
I think so.
Yeah.
Pretty sure he hits Babyface Bob with his tray,
Yeah.
and then they start like a little prison.
But I can't remember. Because it was cool the way he did it. I can't remember how he did it. Like he just, because I think Caretaker was talking about like how you can't like let him. Basically, the whole spiel of you can't be a bitch, you know. So he
Yeah.
goes over to that guy and like starts talking. He's like, he goes to take his tray. He's like, I wasn't done eating, and he's like, oh, well, let me help you with that. That's
He
when he hits him.
bonks him.
Like it was fucking badass.
And
That's
then they
when-
start the prison riot.
Yeah, Steve
Yeah.
Austin. I couldn't,
That was
I
cool,
couldn't
dude.
find what that thing was called.
It's
but
called
I just-
Beehive.
He
I
called
put
it a
Riot
beehive.
A
Bomb.
hornet's nest.
Yeah, he says, "Hornet's nest."
And it's like a grenade that blows up into smaller balls.
It's like
ball
little
bearings.
rubber balls.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it fucks everybody up. And then that's whenever Crew gets put in the hot box.
Yeah, because he gets punched in the face.
Oh yeah, because in my notes I put Adam Sandler as a badass question mark because he goes to swing the nightclub at him and he catches it. He's like, this shit's getting real fucking old.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, Adam Sandler's kind of a badass.
Yeah, that's when he gets punched in the face, wakes up in the hot box. I put Stone Cold calls him Super Dick. He's like, hey,
Wake up,
Super
Super
Dick. And tells him he's been in the hot box for a week.
A week, yeah. He's like, how long have I been in here? He's like,
because he's like,
you want to make it 2?
he's like, you ready to accept the warden's offer? What?
Yeah, Stone Cold takes him to the Warden's football field.
This is whenever they're on the field.
yeah,
And then this is where I have a quote because I forget. This is one of the quotes that like I remember because I used to quote this all the time when I was a kid.
Yeah, I have.
Fucking-
Hey guys, Editor Jeff here. I just want you guys to know the audio cut out here, and this is where we were talking about the scene in where Kevin Nash knocks over the table and screams, "Who drank all of the Gatorade?" back to you guys.
All the equipment they need, and then that happens, and he's like, "Oh, you give them steroids too." And you also find out that all the guards were like former college athletes that didn't get drafted.
Because I put Kevin Nash's breaks the table, and I put because somebody drank all the Gatorade, I put not a sponsor.
Who drank all the goddamn Gatorade?
He's called that all the time for no reason.
I'm gonna go ahead and say this now. Kevin Nash is absolutely fucking hilarious in this
He's
movie.
so fucking funny. He's one of the best parts. Like later,
I agree,
oh
dude.
my god, bro!
I have notes about all of this shit
me too.
later.
When we get there, yeah.
Oh fuck!
It's so goddamn funny. Warden is butthurt that the prison guard's first football game is against league champs.
Yeah. And then Adam Sandler talks to him about, well, why don't you have like a pickup game?
Yeah.
And it's so funny because he says,
he gets a shitty college team to build up the confidence.
yeah, because he talks about when he was in college and how, we'd fucking play like some shit team like App State, which is funny because we are from North Carolina.
Yeah.
It's true. Well, we are shit.
And then Warden says that Paul is going to get a team together and be the quarterback to play the guard. And then Caretaker makes a flyer for tree outs.
Yeah, tree outs.
What is this? Football tree outs.
Yeah, it's fucking Joey Diaz.
Yeah, I love that guy.
Yeah, he's funny in general.
And his name is Anthony, Tony, in the movie. Yeah. And he says, tree outs. What's a tree out? And he's like, it's tryouts, you big dumb bitch.
And then that's when he balls up the paper and it's like, we didn't fucking do it.
Well, this is Deke.
Yeah.
Deke shows up and he's like,
crumbles it up. He says he threw his own team under the bus. What do you think he'll do to you?
But Deke comes up and he says that about like, what do you think he'll do to y'all? And he's like, ain't nobody gonna play fucking football or whatever. And then they lose all the, as they call them, the brothers.
Yeah. And then is that one Skowski? I don't know how to pronounce it.
Not quite yet, I don't think.
No, but what's the other guy?
Well, actually, it might be because
he's like, down Shrek.
Because Joey Diaz. Because then they go to
who's the Brucey?
Bruce.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because he's like, oh yeah, we could play the guards. He's like, we could hurt them, we could kill them. And then it's like, they're all getting ready for football practice, and then they see.
Hey guys, Editor Jeff here. I just want you guys to know the audio cut out here. Back to you guys.
He's a former IWGP heavyweight
I
champion.
knew I could definitely tell he was somebody who like you're supposed to know if you're but I couldn't tell who he was.
Yep, he's an MMA fighter and a former professional wrestler, Bob Sapp, and he is also fucking hilarious in this movie.
Yeah, he is.
There's also this other guy that in my notes I just put Damian Priest looking ass because he's got the same haircut as Damian Priest.
He's just like one of the back characters.
Because at first I was like, that can't be like a young Damian Priest, and I was like, oh no, it's not, but he looks a lot like him.
And then because they see Bob Sapp Satowski, and he's doing like he's got the fucking bleachers. He's like doing squats with them with all the teammates on him.
51, 52.
Yeah. And they come up to him and they ask him. They said, "Are you here for football tryouts?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't play football, mister." And he's like, "Well, we'd like for you to play." And he's like, "Will you teach me how to football?" And then that's when he picks up Caretaker and he's shaking him like,
he's like, down Shrek,
down Shrek, down.
And then nobody has any experience because it depends on them practicing.
Yep, and nobody knows how to do anything. And it's because first it starts with them running.
Yeah,
and they're all running.
Because the big thing is, all right, we're I'm gonna tell you what to write down. We're gonna rate each one from 1 to 10.
Yeah, on skill level. And he's like, give these guys 6s, 5s.
And then it's like Joe Diaz is laying on the ground.
And then
He's
Tony's
like, wait, where's Tony at? And
he's like, where's Tony at? And he's laying there. He's got a cheeseburger in his fucking hand. He's running with a cheeseburger in his hand. He's laying there and he's like, don't you bastards cut me!
and they're like, oh, what should we do? And then Caretaker's like, -2. It's like, -2.
Yeah. Oh, we also forgot to mention that they're talking to everybody about if they played football.
Yeah.
And he's like, he says he played for Kansas State.
Yeah.
And Adam Sandler's like, no shit, no way.
With Coach blah blah blah.
With Coach blah blah blah. And he goes,
no, penitentiary.
And he's like, I heard they got. And Brucey says, I heard they got good mattresses there. He's like, just give me a Diet Coke. Somebody bring me a Diet Coke when he's laying there on the ground. And they're like, okay, whatever. And then it goes to the tire scene where they're running tires, and he's rating them again. And then Brucey's turn. Brucey falls and he starts beating the fuck out of the tire. He's like, fucking tire! Oh my god! And he picks it up and throws one, and Paul goes 3. And Brucey like grabs the tire and like comes at him, and he says, and a half. And Brucey's like, Yeah, 3.5.
That's better.
That's better. Yeah, that's better.
Okay.
And then right after that is whenever they do they're running and hitting that bag.
Yeah.
And Sutowski goes up to it.
He goes, Daddy!
He fucking breaks.
He fucking grabs it, goes all the way up it, and it keeps fucking going. It fucking breaks off.
Yeah, breaks the thing it's set up on and everything.
He's like,
And then
I'm sorry I broke your toy.
Yeah, he's still carrying it. He walks up to crew and caretaker, and he goes, "I'm sorry, I broke your toy." And crew's like, "It's okay, big guy. Why don't you go ahead and give caretaker a hug?" And then he picks him up, started hugging him, and then I think this must be around the time that Burt Reynolds shows up.
Yeah, because they try to run a play and it goes extremely terrible and it's pretty much a free-for-all.
Yeah, because none of them know how to fucking play football.
One of them drop kicks a
Dude,
motherfucker.
double drop kicks, bro. Like they just like fucking punch each other and hit each other, and then that's whenever they get Burt Reynolds. What's his name? Nate Scarborough.
Yep. And then I put Burt Reynolds. in parentheses,
Heisman
Rip.
winner of 1955.
Heisman winner of 1955. Yes.
And then I put he's in the original 74 film.
Yeah.
Boy does not play the same character. But yeah, so Burt Reynolds shows up and he tells him like, you need a coach. Like I can be your coach. Because at first
He's like, you
Paul
gonna play?
Crewe thinks he's gonna play, and he's like, no, I
So you
can't.
get your ass kicked out there.
And then they also have
A rating system on each prisoner.
there's because they have the
It's a 5 stars, most dangerous.
5 stars the most dangerous. Now is this where they also meet the old man? What's the old man's name? The one that hit the warden?
I do not remember his name because I did not take a note on him.
Because at first, for a brief second, before I remembered how the movie played out, I thought that was Unger. And I was like, how is Unger with them too? I was like, oh, wait, no, that's a different old man.
It's a different old man.
Sketchy.
Sketchy.
His name's
Well,
Sketchy.
that makes sense.
I remember I wrote it down. So this is when they also meet Sketchy, and he's telling them about that because they all sneak in to look at the stars.
Yeah.
Because they're doing that to look at the stars to try to recruit like dangerous prisoners
Yeah.
to be on their football team, which is a good idea.
Agreed.
Yeah.
For sure. Because they don't know, and a lot of these guys
Yeah.
don't give a fuck. So they're like, okay, we're going to have to go and do our recruiting for this football team.
Yeah.
So that's whenever they find
Great colleague, but I do not remember his name.
his name was...
Well, with Sketchy though, what they find out is that back in the day, before the warden was the warden, he was just a regular guard,
Yeah.
and Sketchy ended up popping him with a punch, and then once the warden became the warden, he extended his sentence for nothing.
Yeah.
He's like so he's been in there his whole life when he was only supposed to do a couple years.
Yeah.
So
It sucks.
whenever they check the star system, they find a few guys, and then they also caretaker wants to see. He's like, I wonder how many stars my sadistic ass has, and then he literally just has half a star. And then I just wrote, LOL, caretaker only has half star.
Yeah, because I can't remember the joke they made, but it was funny. He's like, oh yeah, you could. I can't remember.
Oh, because he said they're making fun of him, and
Adam Taylor said something.
and then he like kind of like, well, I'll fight you, and then Sketchy says, yeah, we'll put it on pay-per-view, superstar versus half a star. And then this is when Crew goes and talks to the Great Khali.
Who's like in a glass case.
He's in a glass case,
Yeah.
like in
Just beating his
solitary-
head against a
just
fucking
hitting his
wall.
head against it, yeah. And then they come talk to him, and Papa John like beats on the glass, like, "Hey, freak show," or whatever he calls him. Or
I think it was Freak Show.
And then they talk a little bit, and he tries to talk to the Great Khali, and he just stares at him with like blood
Yeah.
coming down his
He's
face.
like, well, okay.
And this is the Great Khali. His name's Turley, by the way.
Okay.
This is the Great Khali before the WWE.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, because he didn't debut until like 06.
Yep.
Interesting.
I went and looked it up just to make sure, and yeah, because his cage match, he had some matches in New Japan in like 03, and they didn't have another match for a few years, and it's him in Deep South, which was the developmental at the time.
That's cool.
Because I did notice in the credits he's listed as his real name, not Great Khali or anything like that.
Right.
Yep.
I think it's funny. Like every time movies need like a foreign big buff guy, they always choose him.
Yeah, 'cause he's
he was
in
in
Get
like Get
Smart.
Smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I remember, like as a kid, I knew Goldberg, I knew Stone Cold.
Yeah.
But I didn't know who he was until I watched it later, and I was like, is that the fucking Great Khali? And then I was like, oh my god, it is.
Yeah.
So, and then they go talk to Torres.
Torres,
Yep.
yeah.
The guy who's sitting there watching TV, he doesn't go outside. He uses his time to watch
The View.
The View, and because he loves Joy Behar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there like laughing, smoking cigarettes. He's like, "Oh, Joy, where does she come up with this shit? Oh my gosh, she's so funny." Like,
Yeah, and then the guard turns it off. He was like, I got another 15 minutes. He's like, yeah, but I'm cutting you short today.
yeah, and that's after they've already tried to talk to him
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
He's like, get the fuck, you're blocking the view.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to fucking play your football. And then the guard comes, the
Cuts him
redhead
off,
guard,
and they're
comes,
walking away.
and he goes, "Hey, is I can't remember what he
What's his
called.
face playing?
Yeah."
Yeah.
And then he goes, "Yeah," and then he's like,
I'm
"Okay."
in.
And then it shows him out on the field, and he's playing on.
He has a fucking cigarette in his mouth as he's putting his mail
between
on.
between the fucking Bars of the fucking helmet.
It's awesome. Yeah, and then it shows him play a little bit, and I think he just like hits a sack or something. Maybe I don't know. Or he's good on coverage. Whatever.
Yeah.
And then it's them talking to Goldberg.
Yeah.
Goldberg's in the shower.
Yep.
And they
And,
reference how big his dick is.
Because they're like trying to look at him and not look at his wiener.
Yep.
And they're talking about. Well, he asks if I think he asks if Captain Knauer's on the team
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
Because pretty much every person they go up against is like, hey man, you can beat up on the guards.
Yep.
Playing against the guards.
And he's like, yeah, you can hit him with that hammer. And he goes, I want to hurt him. I don't want to kill him. And Goldberg's name is Battle.
Yeah, I have that in a later note.
That's a fucking
It's a cool fucking name. And then it cuts to Goldberg on the Battle on the field.
Yeah.
And he's playing linebacker, I think,
Yeah, which I think that's what he played in the actual.
in the actual NFL.
Yeah. First person to ever be cut by the Carolina Panthers.
Yep.
It's my favorite Goldberg fact.
And then so Torres sacks Brucey, or hits Brucey, by the way. Because
Yeah.
I wrote, dude kills Brucey.
Yeah, he flips it.
And then Goldberg's out there, and they can't cover Goldberg. Like, the offense sucks. Like, he gets through the O-line, and he sacks Crew, and he's like, I sacked your ass.
And then they're like, why do we suck? And then that's when Caretaker's like, because we don't have any brothers on the team.
And he goes, this is why I wrote down just Swatowski.
Yeah.
Because he goes, well, we got Swatowski, and he's like, that's half a brother. Or something.
But
But,
he's like, that's just one. Like, we need.
and it's funny because it cuts to him and he's got like all that grass in his face
Helmet.
mask, and he's trying to drink water.
He's like, can't do it.
And this is where they decide to go and
The
try.
basketball court.
They go to the basketball court to try to recruit more guys, which is where we have Deke and Cheeseburger Eddie
Yeah.
and Nelly. His name is Meggot in this.
Yeah.
Meggot.
And Michael Irvin is Deke, I believe.
Okay. Okay.
He's an actual NFL player.
Right.
He played for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I didn't know who he was.
I didn't either,
But
actually.
he was a
That's
good
crazy.
actor.
Yeah.
They're all pretty good actors.
He-
The wrestlers
well,
and the football
He
players
was
are all good
also
actors.
on the NFL channel for a decade.
That's fair.
For a while. He would do some of the pre-Super Bowl stuff. And
Gotcha.
And he comes out there, and Deke's like, "What are you doing on my court?" And this is whenever they're talking shit to Adam Sandler. This is whenever you have Cheeseburger Eddie's fucking awesome line.
oh, yeah. Well, actually, Michael Irvine calls him a baby back bitch.
That was funny. I was
and
like, we're gonna
then-
start quoting that.
and
Big
then-
back bitch.
Cheeseburger Eddie keeps saying it and does the robot.
That's a big
Baby
robot.
back bitch, baby back bitch. And then he talks about how he's got
It's a big ass robot.
I got the shakes that'll make you quake. I got the fries that'll cross your eyes. I got burgers I just got burgers. Didn't write that down, just know it.
Cheeseburger Eddie loves McDonald's and fucking Terry loves yogurt.
and to put also Nelly is there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I only refer to him as Nelly because I couldn't remember his name. So the whole
And then it says
I only remember because in the game at the end, one of the announcers, the way he says it is funny. He's like, "Run, Maggot, run!"
Yeah.
And I was like,
Oh,
"That's
yeah.
funny." It sounds like Maggot.
and then they agree to Crew says, how about we play
1-on-1.
and if I beat you 1-on-1, you guys have to join the team, and if I lose, I'll leave you alone. And
First to 11.
first to
Call
11,
your own fouls.
call your own fouls, and then Deacon immediately like fucking just
Uppercuts him with a fucking elbow.
hits him in with the elbow.
I put
And
it-
Adam Sandler, go ahead.
I put Adam Sandler versus Michael Irvine. I think it's Irvin in a very aggressive basketball game.
Yeah.
Very
It
aggressive.
reminded me of that episode of It's Always Sunny where they have to coach the little league team and they're teaching them how to do the elbows and fucking like punches. It's funny as
I've seen
hell.
that episode a couple of times.
Yeah, I wrote Deacon is a badass. Cheats in basketball though.
Basketball.
This movie has an awesome soundtrack part too because that's where they start the Public Enemy song.
Yeah, but also
And
I
then-
really like it too because like every time he hits him and he knocks down, he's like, "Oh, you good?" He's like, "You want to call a foul?" He's like, "Nah, you're good. That was clean."
Yeah.
Like
he does
show him
that-
respect that he can take a beating.
Exactly, like show him he can take it, and like it's his court, whatever.
Yep.
I wrote fire basketball scene because this is whenever we have the montage,
Right.
Yeah, a basketball game montage ensues.
Yeah, nice.
and then so does Crew win?
Technically, yes.
But Deke calls a bullshit foul,
yeah. I
so
put,
that he doesn't lose.
I put Michael Irvin cheats to win.
And then he fucking like,
That's a dirty game. You got to play dirty to win it.
and then he bounces it off the backboard and fucking dunks on Adam Sandler, and he's like, you know, that was a good game, but you can get to stepping or whatever,
Yeah.
like get to
Yeah.
stepping, white boy, and then Nelly Meggot respects Crew due to the basketball game and decides to join the
He
team.
says, anybody who can take a beating like that and still get back up is all right in my book.
Yeah, and then he asks if they have a running back, and then they don't. So this is whenever your note happens.
Oh yeah, cause fucking it's just like one of the funniest lines. He's like, yeah, I'll go or whatever, and then Deacon was like, fine, if he wants to go with the white boys, let him. And then fucking Cheeseburger 8 is like, you're being a real McAsshole.
Yeah, that's funny.
And then it's either around here or when they finally get back to the practice field. But then it's funny, fucking they call Nelly a fucking Hershey Kiss. He's like, you
oh yeah,
Hershey
it's
Kiss?
right here because he goes, well, we didn't get the full chocolate bar, but we got a Hershey's Kiss. And it's also funny because the whole time, like, Nate Scarborough and Caretaker are watching the game. Like, Nate will be like, that's a bullshit call, and Caretaker will be like, he said it, not me.
Because he's trying to stay with the brothers.
And then after Real McAsshole, I have Nelly's first running back scene goes hard because it shows him like running, and that's when he loses his shoes.
Yeah.
And he scores.
He's like, I ain't never had shoes before, so I'm okay with it. So it's like he's like, for a while he plays barefoot, but then Caretaker's like, I know a guy who has some sneakers fall off the back of a truck.
Yeah, he says that his cousin drives a truck for Reebok, and let's see what he can do. And
kind of just pans to Paul playing ping pong with Great Khali.
Then it's the Great Khali scene with the ping pong because he comes out, he's big badass, and he starts fucking. He's
playing ping pong by himself on the table.
Like, that's his rec time.
Yeah.
And then Cruz shows up, and
I can play with you if you want.
Also, we forgot to mention he has all this freedom to do all this because the warden does tell him that he can.
Yeah.
Like, he'll give them, like, time to do all this stuff and whatever. So, like, they kind of get free reign over the prison, like, if they're on the team. Like, I guess to an extent. But, yeah, he comes in, and Great Khali's playing it, and he's like, well, if I take it down, we can play together. And he just pulls it down.
And the ball goes away. He's like, it's okay, don't worry, I got
another one. And then he makes an egghead joke about himself.
I do that, too. I put self-burn. Those are rare.
I put LOL egghead joke. Because he says that, like, football is kind of like ping pong, just the bounce. The ball's like, bigger and shaped like an egg.
Like me.
Like my head. And then he says, Papa John's their safety. And then he goes, I'll play.
And then I just put the Great Khali on defense.
And then I put Khali kicks Wachowski in the face and breaks his nose, and he gets upset about it.
Yeah, I wrote, because it cuts to Khali on the field, and I just wrote, Khali is huge. And then I put, big boots Bob Sapp, which is Wachowski. And then he gets up, he broke my nose! I don't want to play no more!
It just breaks it
Hold
back.
on, come here, big guy. Let's see if I can fix that.
And that's when I wrote down Goldberg's name as Battle.
Yeah. And then it's so funny because
that's when I finally put in my notes. I was like, there's a lot of wrestlers in this. It's like, fuck them.
Yeah.
And then they fix his nose because he's like, is it bad? And then they fix it and he's like, no, it's not bad. He's like a young Michael Jackson. And Swatowski goes, ooh, I love little Michael. And then he goes, and then he looks at Turley and he goes, I think he did it on purpose. And Cruz like, no, he didn't do it on purpose. Then it cuts to Turley and he's like,
Yeah, Adam's like, apologize.
and then he makes him apologize. And then Swatowski's like, I made him say he's sorry. And then he walks away. And then after that, I just have LOL Dick Chant. Oh, because whenever they're walking off the field, that's whenever it's not the first time that we run into I guess the transgender people in the.
Well, I think the joke is supposed to, I think they are, but it's also the joke of like I think back then in the day it was the joke of like they're the bitches basically.
Yeah, it's LOL gay dudes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's what it is.
I mean, this movie was in 2005. So.
Yeah, like that's
basically it's like when they always say like you're either hit the biggest guy, show him you're not a bitch, or you get walked all over.
You get turned into a bitch.
Exactly.
And they're like
it's a 2005 prison movie. It's bound to not age well in some places.
But for the most part, it's not.
Yeah, it's
not in bad taste.
Yeah, no, it's done well.
Agreed.
And like there's air quotes around this, like they are the bitches.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. But there's air quotes.
Yeah. I also put, dude, this movie's soundtrack is fucking awesome.
But yeah, LOL Dick Chant because they do like the give me a D, give me an I, give me a C,
C.
and then they start to do the K where like they're both like backed up into each other. And he's like, that's enough.
Because Tracy Morgan's like that's for you, Paul.
Yeah. And
like, thank you, ladies. You did good.
And then Brucey is the only one that calls Tracy Morgan she.
Yeah, which is
and Tracy Morgan's like, you're just mad that I'm doing this for Paul, and you wish I was doing it for you instead. And then she talks about how his breath smells like 8 cans of shark shit. And And Brucey's like, I don't know what she's talking about. I don't know what she's talking about. And Paul Cruz's like, what's that about? And he's like, I don't know, she's just saying stuff. and then they cut to the locker room, because also at this time is whenever it shows Nelly running to play again, and Unger's watching. Unger is the rat.
Yep.
And he goes to the guards' locker room. And Stone Cold, okay, I put Stone Cold racist. And then I put,
God, yeah.
but not really, because in real life he's not.
Yeah, in real life he's a cool dude. In this movie, though.
He's playing the air guitar, and it just shows all the guards.
So this is how you play guitar.
Yeah, he's like, this is how a white man plays the guitar.
Yeah.
And then it shows Unger come in there, and he's like, oh, y'all got Halo 2. I didn't even know that was out yet. Came out in 04, just so you guys know. And then tells them about Nelly being fast. And then this is when I write Megget is Nelly, because that's who they're talking about. Because like they're finally starting to get some talent, but to be worried about it. And
but it's basically just to show that that Unger is their snitch, basically.
Yeah.
And that like he says they got a running back now, which is Nelly, and the guards are like, we'll try and get rid of him.
They're like, how fast is he? And he's like, he's so fast, he makes fast people look not fast. It's like, oh, okay, pretty fucking fast.
Yeah.
Pretty fucking fast, dude. Oh shit.
Yeah, I took a little bit of notes during the that library scene.
Yeah, me too. Because then it does cut to the library. Nelly, there's prison jobs, and Nelly's or Megget's prison job is that he works in the library. Just
which basically you find out because he likes to read a lot.
Yeah,
you can go ahead, Dylan. Yeah, I was just reading my notes. I'm sorry, I just wanted to kind of, and I'll fill in.
I'm just gonna read through mine real quick.
Okay.
The guards pile up on Nelly in the library. Stone Cold says the N-word when Nelly hands Nash a book about Malcolm X.
I thought that was a nice little subtle dig too, because he's like, oh, what would you recommend? And he hands him a Malcolm X.
It is a nice subtle dig. I think so too.
Fuck you, white man.
Yeah, and then Stone Cold asks Nelly if the N-word offends him, and then calls him the N-word.
Yep.
And he walks off. Stone Cold knocks the books off the table and says, "You missed a bunch of books." Nelly picks up the books Stone Cold knocked over.
Basically with a smile on his face. Like not trying to save face, not trying to show.
And then he turns around to walk off again. Stone Cold knocks the top one off.
Missed one.
Yeah, he goes, "You missed one." And then he goes to bend down, and Kevin Nash leans over and goes, "I bet you'd like to hit us, huh?" And Nelly says, "Nah, y'all are my friends." And it just pissed the guards off.
Because he knows better. He's not stupid.
Yeah. And, they're just doing all this just to try to get him to hit them so that
they can have cause for it.
And I think they want to beat him up and throw him in the fucking hot box so that he can't be in the game.
That too.
Yeah.
You know, because we're getting close to game time.
Yeah. And that's Deacon and Cheeseburger
Eddie
watch the whole thing.
They're watching the whole thing. Yeah. Deke Cruz sees this. That's what I wrote.
Yeah.
I wrote Stone Cold Racist Part 2, by the way.
Yeah. And I put pants to outside. Now the basketball team joins the football team.
Yeah.
It's a really triumphant moment too, because they're like, it's something where like they're just practicing with it, and then like caretaker's like, holy shit, and then you see the whole basketball.
Yeah, he's like just looking off in the distance.
He's
and
like, oh
shit.
Yeah.
Crew goes, what is he smiling about? And then they all come. It's a cool shot, like over the staircase to come down into the yard. And I just wrote, the boys join the team. And then I also wrote Fire soundtrack again.
This is where I wrote, how much did McDonald's pay Terry Crews? Because he makes another, like, he's like, he just keeps fucking, like, this is where I had enough of it, where I'm like, bro, he must have been, like, getting money from McDonald's or something.
Yeah, the scene of Deke and Eddie is awesome. Like, Deke runs out there and, like, catches, like, the one-handed pass. And, like, it shows them really good. And it shows, like, I think it shows Cheeseburger catching a ball. And then it's like, who's on the, and, like, maybe, like, somebody's trying to block him and he knocks him over because it's Tony. Because Tony's laying there because he fucking pulls the quarter pounder out of his fucking jock and sets it on Tony's face.
He's like,
mask.
there you go, have a cheeseburger.
or maybe he does it to Brucey. I can't remember who it is.
I can't remember.
I think it's Brucey because he goes, "Is there cheese on it?" Like,
is there cheese on it?
And I just wrote quarter pounder from the cock is crazy. Like, and then they're talking about how like things are going really well, but they still have one more problem they gotta take care of, and it's Unger because he's like standing there like writing down their fucking plays.
Yep. I never knew his name till the end of the movie, so I put the cafeteria guy as a snitch.
Yep.
I put Rat's name as Unger, and then
he goes back to the guards again.
Not yet, because this is whenever they go to the golf scene.
Oh, that's right.
When he talks to
he's basically trying to get Unger off his back.
Yeah, and he's telling him like,
I have a funny. I didn't write it down, but I have a funny thing with Kevin Nash in this scene.
Oh yeah, it's funny as fuck. Yeah. And I just wrote. So I have from the golf scene. I have like one or two notes. I wrote Golf Buddy and Crew are Eskimo brothers.
Yeah, well, it's funny because he said, "I think you fucked my wife back in the day."
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry about that." And he's like, "Well, my wife's hot enough to to have a one night stand with the NFL superstar. I guess I must be doing all right. And then
classic like fucking white country.
and then one of the other dudes says his wife has the sweetest ass.
He's like, can we get a picture? And then Kevin Nash is just...
Kevin Nash is a guard and he gets in it. He's like,
could you step out of the shot? He's like, oh, okay.
yeah. Because I wrote LO Kevin Nash in photo. And then
The warden tries to get him to do something, and he won't do it. And then,
Well, he tries to get the warden to get Unger off their back.
Yep.
And he's
Yeah.
like, oh, you'll have my answer tomorrow morning.
Well, he calls him his guys or something, like, because he cares about him.
Yeah.
And the warden's like,
Oh, so
you haven't had a single phone call or opened a single piece of mail. Like, you don't care about anybody.
And then he's like,
Yeah.
well, maybe you could say I found a sense of family.
Yeah, maybe I finally found a sense of family that I've always wanted. And then the next...
And he's like, as for your
Yep.
question, you'll have my answer tomorrow
That's
morning.
exactly
Yep.
it. And then
Yep.
they go out and Warden has flooded the field.
Yep.
And then they play another fire song.
Yep.
Someone told me long ago.
Because my next note was just that good pep talk. Like he gives them a really good pep talk. Like we're not gonna let them break our fucking spirit.
Yeah.
We're gonna fucking win. And
Yeah.
Caretaker's like, we're gonna win. He's
He
like, yeah,
says-
we're gonna fucking win.
He says the Warden is scared. That's
Yeah.
why he did
He's
this.
like, why do you
That's
think
what
he
my
did this?
note
Because we're
says.
scared.
The warden flooded the field, shows that he's scared of him. And then muddy football montage.
Yeah,
This was fucking great.
I
yeah.
put the boys play in the water, and then I put fun scene. This movie is incredible.
Agreed. Because like
And-
it is like just like a good, nice sense of camaraderie.
And then
It's good.
after, it might have been after or maybe during the football montage, the team starts fucking with the guard stuff.
It's right after.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because since he said basically the thing, and then with Unger, he's like, that's when they're like, well, fuck, if the warden's gonna play dirty, we gonna play a little dirty.
Yeah,
too.
they decide to start playing dirty too, and it's a montage.
And then,
This montage also has whenever Caretaker gets the cleats for Megat.
in a cake.
Yeah, in a cake.
Yeah.
And who's the big guy?
Swatowski?
Swatowski. He's just eating the cake. He's like, eating the cake.
And Nellie's like, oh, cool shoes, fuck yeah.
He's just eating the cake
and they were. This is when they replace Kevin Nash's steroid
with estrogen.
Yeah, they put because it shows Nash take the steroids.
Yeah.
And then it shows them sneak into the locker room, and it shows them get rid of them and put estrogen in there instead.
Yeah.
And then
Fuck, what else do they do?
they have then it's Bob Sapp eating the cake, and then they start showing him the brass knuckles.
Yeah.
What's his name? Shifty? Is that what I said? Or
Yeah,
Sketchy?
Sketchy.
Sketchy's like he's got the brass knuckles, teach him how to use it, and it shows him like hitting people with them. And they do that, and then I wrote LOL Brucey because he does something. I don't remember what. I think he might just get rocked with them or something. I can't remember. But
And then they have like a big old Thanksgiving style feast.
yeah, they have this Thanksgiving feast, and that's kind of the end of the montage.
Yep.
Because then it's Adam Sandler and Caretaker in their cells, and their cells are right beside each other.
Yeah. And I put they have a nice heartwarming bonding moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put Champagne. Caretaker is cool. And then they're talking about like, oh, I know you must have a lot of girls lined up in here because or outside of prison or whatever
Yeah.
because OJ cut his wife's fucking head off and he still got pussy. You
My
know?
my next note was that OJ joke didn't age well.
Yeah. I just wrote LOL OJ joke, but they also talk about Caretaker's mama.
Yeah.
because he shows him a picture of him.
Yeah, he says, "Look at my girl right here," which that was I liked that. That was
That was
nice.
really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
But then, like, they're talking really loud. You can kind of tell, like, they're being listened to.
Yeah.
It's like they can tell that, like, they need to break that up.
And then Crew goes to lay down, and he's like, "Hey, one more question." And he like asks him like, why did you throw that game? And he's like, "Didn't you read the headlines? I'm innocent." Like
Yeah.
Crew still will not admit that he did
Right.
it, even though he's in fucking prison.
Even though with his sense of camaraderie with his friends, he still can't admit, you know, just that, let alone, you know, being the coach.
Yep.
And then Paul gets the guards' football tapes from last year. That's the next note I
Yeah, he
have.
finds out that he can get
Yeah.
the tapes, but he has to fuck. And I put because at the time I couldn't figure out who that lady was. I know she's a receptionist.
I
Yeah.
think she's been in some stuff. I can't think.
Yeah, I just had to seduce the whole receptionist.
I put has to fuck Warden's wife, maybe receptionist, and then I was like, no, it's definitely the receptionist.
Well, I don't know if it was fucking or what.
I don't know if he fucked her either. I was just like,
It seemed
ah.
more like she was just like playing into her fantasies. Like
Yeah. He goes in there and talks to her, and she's like, "We only got 15 minutes."
He like he's getting ready to take the tape. She's like, "Oh, you're not getting out of here that easy."
Mhm. And then they drink the wine, and then it cuts to the.
Yeah, because he's like trying to drink the whole glass.
Yeah.
Trying to
And then it cuts to them all watching.
getting ready to watch the tapes, and the wardens
No.
leave.
They're paying to the guards talking to the narc. I forgot his name. Unger.
Unger.
Or it might be like a mixture of the two scenes together.
I feel like they talked to Unger after the tape because it shows Unger spying on them.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I probably didn't write a note on the.
But like Unger
thing.
sees what they're doing through the. Well,
Yeah,
no.
I didn't write a note about them watching the tapes.
Okay.
My bad.
Okay.
So
You're
that's
good,
on
big
me.
dog.
That's why I was like,
You
wait,
good,
no.
big dog.
And I was like, yeah, he's spying on them fucking. I was like, wait, no, that's the other scene. My
Yeah,
bad.
because they have video of him seducing her, and then,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Sandler.
Because the guards leave,
Or
and then they're like, all right, before we watch the tapes, we got something to show y'all.
Yeah, because they watch what he did with her on tape. Ha ha ha. Crew
shows.
has big dick because it shows him like with the cowboy hat over his cock, and is holding it up.
And I was like, whoa!
And then Brucey tries to make fun of him.
He's
and
like, oh, we
then-
got something for you too. Don't worry, we got a sequel.
And then it shows where fucking because Crew gets up and he says, "Brucey, I'm glad you thought that was funny." And then he's like, "Cause I got a surprise for you." And it's the tape of it's like Brucey and he's like looking into like the laundry room,
Like trying to look like make sure no one's watching.
And then Tracy Morgan comes out and they go and she puts lip gloss
on him.
And then
They go behind the window and then pull down the
little shade thing
Yeah.
or the blind.
and everyone's like, oh!
And then they start fucking making out and they fall down and Like,
And then I think that's when Burt Reynolds is like, all right, we got to watch
yeah.
the actual tape.
They're like, let's do what we came here to do before the guards come back.
and then they watch the guards footage and then that's whenever it shows Unger's spine. And then it cuts to the scene with them with the guards.
Yep.
Yeah, and I wrote, they're talking to Unger and wants to get rid of Paul, and Nash is having hot flashes, and he keeps rubbing his nipples, and they're killing me.
Why are we talking about your nipples?
Yeah.
They're killing me.
I wrote, LOL, Kevin Nash nipples hurt due to estrogen. And then I wrote, they want Unger to kill or maim Crew. Because they don't tell him to kill him specifically.
Yeah.
They say, you're the criminal, figure out how to get rid of him.
Yeah.
How to get rid of him.
And then he sets up a trap while they're at football practice.
Yeah, they're out there at football practice and they're like clapping, getting ready. Because I think this is like the day before the game.
Yeah.
It's coming up.
And they're all clapping and getting hyped up. And then I wrote, because Caretaker starts heading in, because you don't know why. And then I wrote, Unger looks like a criminal among criminals. Because he's walking around
With
like,
the hood on.
how do you look even more shady, bro? You
Yeah,
know,
like-
Yeah. But that's, he gets out of the cell while Caretaker's going into it because he's leaving him a present. He's got a picture.
Yeah,
for him.
and like something's playing on the radio, and he was like, man, why does y'all listen to this white shit?
And he goes to turn it
Turn
off.
the dial.
Yep.
Because it was supposed to be meant for Crew.
Yeah.
And then he goes to turn it off and it blows up.
Yeah, and it kills him.
And then Unger locks the cell before so that way no one can get into him.
Yep. And I remember I wrote this part killed me as a kid because when I was a kid,
Yeah,
that shit
it was
broke my
sad as
heart.
fuck.
Yeah, it was so sad.
I fucking loved
But
Caretaker.
to be fair, I made a joke instead of the usual Miss blah 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 rip. I just put keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
The only person that smiled during that scene was Will Smith.
So then they go to the funeral.
Well, and, they show the funeral and they talk about him a little bit and they put stuff on his.
And then
Yeah.
Paul puts the picture of his mom on there.
I put the team has a nice little memorial for him. Ain't gonna lie, made me tear up a little.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then fucking Cheeseburger Eddie just puts a burger on there.
Burger on
Burger.
there.
There's like a beer and like
Yeah.
some vodka
And then
there's,
Crew puts that
there's like
picture
a
of his
nudie
mom.
man
Yeah.
because I put hell yeah boobs.
High
Like,
five.
yeah. And then it's the next day and he's like he tells them
And
like
them going to the game.
bus leaves at 12. He says that during them getting all hyped up. He
Yeah.
does say that. And then it's them going to the game and they get off. Well, it shows like them getting the field ready and stuff, like putting up barbed wire fences and
Classic,
shit.
like getting ready for a game, except with a prison spin.
Yeah, and I put Warden is the absolute worst at giving pep talks. Lets them know that if they try to talk to civilians or make a run for it, they'll be shot in the head.
In the head, yeah.
He says, you'll be shot in the
in
head.
the head. And then they're like, oh, damn.
I also wrote that Goldberg has sweet sunglasses, because I don't know if y'all noticed that whenever they get off the fucking bus, he's like the one behind
No.
Crew. Battle has like the sunglasses on that I used to wear, like the Ozzy Osbourne ones.
That's pretty cool.
And then I put Caretaker's last gift for the team was getting gear to wear.
Mean Machine.
Well, also, it's really funny because before they get the gear out and the warden's talking to him, they come in there like, stand up for the warden. And Tony stands up and he's wearing that fucking jock
Oh,
strap.
yeah. He's like, oh, you can sit down.
And he says,
He's like, thank God.
he says, oh, Anthony, you can sit down.
He said, thank God.
and then the guard's like, I'm coming for you, Crew. And he headbusts the locker and Deke says, I think he's in love with you. And then they pull out the uniforms and they find out that the name is Mean Machine. Once again, fire soundtrack.
Yep.
I wrote that whenever they come out.
And it says Tracy Morgan is one of the cheerleaders.
Yeah. And then they show that Babyface Bob, one of the fucking inmates, is also commentating
Commentating.
the game. And he doesn't say anything, he just stands there and stares at it, which is funny. And then they come running out and they see the hot cheerleaders and they're all like, oh,
Like,
what's
oh,
up,
and then
baby?"
the guys with the guns
the
come.
guard, the high powered. I was like,
Hey,
hey, sorry. Call me.
Sorry. This is random, but just random background convicts is played by D12, the rap group.
Really?
Oh
Yeah.
shit! I thought he looked familiar. I just didn't know why. Interesting.
Well, I'm trying to find out who was the actual commentator with him.
Chris something, because I know he says
Chris Berman.
Okay.
And then I have a serious question here, because it shows the Mean Machines cheerleaders, and I write, did Caretaker get them uniforms too?
Yeah, because like they're all matching.
How the fuck do they have those? Like,
Maybe he did. Caretaker was he was
Caretaker
called,
was a righteous dude.
he was a caretaker. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
and then my next one, because this is like the game starts,
Yeah.
and Papa John catches it, and because I wrote fuck Papa John.
Oh yeah, I was fucking impressed. Oh, go ahead. I'll tell you in a minute.
I wrote fuck Papa John because he runs it back for
90
touchdowns.
yards. Because when he did that after that, I was like, I thought that was a fucking 90-yard return, and then all you hear in the background is for a 90-yard return. I was like, oh shit, I guessed right.
But the reason why he does that is because like they start the game and they just start beating the fuck out of the guards.
Yeah.
The game starts. The convicts are beating up the guards, but not playing very well.
Nah.
Because they truck that one dude and he's like riding on the cart. And
Oh
he
yeah,
goes,
that's my next note.
he
Thanks
goes-
for picking me up from school. Hey mom. Hey dad.
Yeah.
Thanks
Hey,
for
Mom.
picking me up from school.
Yeah, because then they put him on a stretcher, and Kevin Nash cries because that guy got hurt.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm gonna cry for you if you don't want to cry.
He's like, yeah, fuck. Why are you being such a bitch? He's like, I'm sorry for
Oh, that's
caring.
whenever. That's like the next scene though, because that's whenever Kali like hits that dude.
Yeah,
Like just chases after him and gives up coverage for Crew.
Yeah.
Because the prisoners get their revenge but give up a 14-0 lead. And then he hurts that dude and he's on the thing. And he's like, I put LOL Kevin Nash crying. And he says, why are you yelling at me? All I did was care. Like, and then they have like Crew like gets them all up together, like huddles them up. And he's like,
Because he grabs Kali's face mask. He's like, you fucking get him. Good. Now protect me.
now protect me. And then
I was like, it was fucking, the way he grabbed that face
Yeah.
mask was like
I was like,
ferocious.
Paul yells
I was
at
like, god damn.
Paul yells at the team, and
Yeah.
the team starts playing a little better.
he says, a broken leg will heal, but a loss to the mean machine will last forever.
forever.
And then I wrote, time to play for real.
Respect.
But then you immediately have then like they start trying to play, but the ref
But
is
the ref
ref
keeps
keeps fucking him.
keeps calling fucking penalties on him.
Well, here's what I put. The refs are making bad calls on purpose. Sounds like a Chiefs game.
because Deke has pass interference.
We'll never win with them on the warden's payroll.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
what they say.
Shitty ref gets hit in the balls twice.
Well,
Like,
no,
just
is it-
fucking spiral
Is that the
directly
guy that's
towards-
usually in Adam Sandler movies?
Yeah,
it
That's what I was
is.
okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell with the shitty wig he had on.
'Cause
I couldn't tell.
He also kind of looks like Jon Stewart, but he's not Jon
Yeah,
Stewart.
he does. But like with the shitty wig, I couldn't tell until it was the second time he gets hit in the nuts. I was like, "Is that guy?" I just couldn't
Yeah.
tell with that wig he had on. But yeah,
Yeah, like so because Deke has pass interference that doesn't get called, and then Nelly gets face mask right after.
yeah, because that pass interference, I was like, "Bro, that was blatant, dude."
Yeah.
Well, that face mask is too, bro. He
Yeah.
fucking rips him down.
And
by
there's
that
one
thing.
more too.
So-
Well, that's later. But
That's why I put. It sounds like a Chiefs game.
yeah, it really
And
does.
then, and then he's like, they say that about him being on the payroll, and then so Crew's like, okay, well I have an idea. They hike the
Spirals.
ball, and he spirals it.
and then he's like, "Bah!" and just
Yeah.
beelines it right for his fucking
I
nuts.
put Crew hits him right in the cock. With
Right
the
in
ball.
the McNuggets.
Yeah.
is what Cheeseburger Eddie says.
And
Oh,
then
right in the McNuggets.
And then Colonel Sanders goes, that one hurt my marble sack. And the ref's like, okay, are you okay? Are you okay? He's like, yeah. And he's like, what
He's
down
like-
is it? And
He's
he
like
goes,
the fifth,
he goes, the fifth.
and then they do it one more time.
And
then
that's when he says, always protect the
He
McNuggets.
always protect the McNuggets,
Yeah.
and then he's like, you gonna call a fair game now? He's like,
Yep.
yes.
Yeah. And then the next play, or the next scene, is whenever Kevin Nash comes and starts screaming.
Yeah.
Because he's like, oh, what happens? Like, they hike the ball, and Kevin Nash is like a defensive end or something, so he comes running up to Crew, and he's going, ah! And then he throws the ball away, and Kevin Nash goes, oh, you fooled me. And he's like, fuck what?
Oh, yeah, because I put, the convicts get the first down, and Paul compliments Nash, and Nash cries again.
Yeah, because he says, you're the best looking guy out here. And
You're
he's
the best
like,
looking guy out
he's
here.
like, Crew, for you to say that in
a
a
lot.
time like this, it's
You had to pause because I was laughing so fucking
Yeah,
hard.
bro. I was dying. It started. And then
the convicts finally score.
Deke scores a touchdown.
Yeah.
I wrote who scored the touchdowns.
Yeah, and then Stone Cold comes into the game.
Well, okay, so also though, because the crowd's getting booed,
Yeah.
or the convicts are getting booed for scoring, and Kevin Nash turns to the crowd and he goes, "Quit booing, people!
Teams are trying their
Both
hardest."
teams are trying very hard." And he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Because Stone Cold's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And he says, "It's sportsmanship. You should try it." And then
the last part of this movie, Kevin Nash is fucking
he's
hilarious.
fucking stealing
Yeah,
it, man.
and then Stone Cold comes out and he runs like a really good first down, and then he goes up
Instantly
to
talk shit to.
he goes up to
Nelly.
Meggett on the sideline. He
Yeah.
goes,
And-
"That's how you run a football, bitch."
And I put who is not on defense.
yeah. He's like, if I was on defense, I'd kick your ass. He's like, oh, well, you're not
And
on
then
defense.
Nelly pulls over Swakowski and
Tell me, you know what he said in the library?
yeah, tells him everything.
And like the look in his eyes, I was like, I wouldn't want to fuck with him.
And then I just wrote, Swatowski gets mad, kills Stone Cold on the field.
Makes him
Yeah,
shits his pants.
he fucking tackles the motherfucker. He motherfucker does a flip. In my notes, I put Austin 316 says you just shit your pants.
Yeah. He says, I think I made him shit himself. And then
all the whole crowd's like, he
the
fucking
crowd
shit
says it.
The
The commentator guys say it.
Yeah.
They're like, who are the guys in the analysts, whatever?
Chris.
yeah, he's like, I think he shit his pants.
And then they're loading.
Chris Berman.
No, I mean
no,
like
like, there's like
the other guys that are up there.
Yeah.
Who are they?
No.
I think they're just like analysts or like.
Yeah.
But anyway, they're like yeah, he just shit.
And then the
his pants.
medic's like, oh yeah, he definitely shit
It's like, I
himself.
smells like shit.
And then the other team does a lateral play, and then it actually fucking works.
Yeah, that was crazy. Like
Yeah.
it was like 3 or 4 laterals.
I
Yeah,
put a
the
lateral
convicts-
play that actually works. Mind blown emoji.
The convicts
Right.
do the lateral play where they go whoop whoop whoop, and then this is whenever Meggett gets a touchdown.
Yep.
Tie it up going into the half,
Going 14-14 halftime.
and then they're in the locker. They're in the guards' locker room.
Yeah, and then
Oh, because he's screaming. He's like, "You're making us look like we're looking like idiots in front of the whole nation."
yeah.
And then Kevin Nash goes, "I like when he's angry." And then
He talks to
and then the warden goes and talks to Crew.
well, he's talking to the other guard first. Though, who's the main guard again?
Well, he tells Captain
in
Canal.
Canal.
He
in
tells
the,
him
in the locker
after,
room.
though.
He's like, okay, never mind.
Yeah, because what
Yeah,
happens?
that's right.
is-
Yeah, they're talking in the tunnel. Yeah, that's right.
Because Warden talks to Crew and he says
Throw the fucking game.
he throws him to throw the game, and if he doesn't, because he says that inmate Unger's saying he had an accomplice and it was Crew, and he's basically telling him he's going to blackmail him into
Yep.
taking the fall for the murder if he doesn't
Cruz-
lose this
for,
fucking game
Caretaker's murder.
for caretaker's murder.
I put the warden sucks donkey dick.
And he says he wants a 2-touchdown lead, and then Paul's like, okay, I'll give you that, but then like you
After that, don't make sure no one else gets hurt.
yeah, after that you coast. I don't want my guys to get hurt.
Yeah.
But then it shows him talking to Captain Knauer.
And he's like, as soon as he said you're gonna, he says you're gonna get a 3-touchdown lead.
Yep.
And then you're gonna hurt them like nothing.
Inflict as much pain as possible. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
show them who owns them is what he
Yeah.
says.
Sure, yeah.
And then they start the second half.
And they're getting fucking
Paul
creamed.
throws an interception.
Throws an interception on purpose, and then they're like, "Oh, that's the first time he's made a mistake this whole game."
And then like, cause at first Scarborough was he's like, that's okay, it happens. No, don't let it get to you. Like at first he's not catching on.
yeah,
but
well, at first, it can seem like
yeah,
you
no,
know,
shit, it's
and then
okay,
he
man.
fumbles the ball right
Yeah.
after that, and they recover it
Yeah.
Yep.
for a touchdown, and then
Yeah.
they have a sweet bowling pin celebration.
Yeah,
You
that
guys
was-
remember
that was
that? That shit
sick,
was
bro.
funny, bro.
That was before excessive celebration got fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And then I put Brucey fills in for Paul at quarterback and instantly fumbles again.
Yeah.
And then the guards score again.
Well, okay, so threatens to sit out, and then there's a late hit too, because there's a late hit on Tony.
I was gonna say that earlier, but then
Yeah.
I remembered it came out later. He's like, because the Chris guy's like, that's the latest hit I've seen.
Oh yeah, because it's on the return.
Yeah,
that's when
yeah.
he gets trucked.
I haven't seen a later.
And then when they're dragging him off, he goes, "Can of corn, can of corn, I'll be fine." And then
because he gets fucking rocked.
because
Dude.
Crew's sitting out, and he's like, "This is when he's like saying that his
He's
knees
like, all right,
hurt."
cool, well, I'm done. My knee's bad. He's like, oh, it looks fine to me. He's like, yeah, well, it's not.
Yeah, and then Nelly goes up to him and tries to say something, or just looking at him,
Yeah.
and he won't make eye contact with Meggett, and he goes, "Yeah, I'd have a hard time looking at me too." That's what Meggett says to Crew.
Yeah.
And then they put out Brucey because he's the only other one that knows
Yeah.
the plays. And then I just write LOL poor Brucey
Yeah.
because they say like his number's number 1, and I just wrote definitely not number 1 on the field.
It's like literally the next play they run,
He fumbles the ball.
it.
And they score again. Then he
And
comes
he
back
says-
out there and takes a brutal fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
He
like
said-
fucking he fucking like gets launched in the air, and then the other guy fucking tackles his feet. And he fucking does a flip.
Well, whenever Brucey
Shit was
fumbles it,
crazy.
he says, "Shouldn't have had that popcorn."
Dude, this blew my fucking mind. I told you about this guy that I used to work with that always fucking ran his fucking mouth at work the whole
Yeah.
time. He would always say that. And I don't know why that quote never stuck in my brain, but I didn't know the fuck he was talking about.
Yeah.
And then when I watched that movie, I was like, that's what he's been quoting this whole fucking time. I was like, because like every time he's like because we're loading trucks on the fucking couches on the truck. Every time he'd like drop it, like, oh, I knew I should have had that popcorn. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then in this movie, I was like, that's what he's fucking quoting.
And then Deke comes up to Crew and talks shit to him again.
Yeah.
He's like, I knew you weren't any different. I knew you were just going to be like this.
Yeah, you knew you shaved those fucking points.
And then they play the next play, and Brucey gets killed.
Yeah.
And then Crew looks up and sees the warden looking at him.
Yep.
And this is when it all connects. And Crew's like, oh, he's not going to take his word.
Nope.
He's a lying-ass motherfucker. And then he goes and talks to Sketchy on the sidelines.
Like, was it worth it when you popped the warden? Was it worth it?
He was like, worth
he said, worth
every
every second.
Yeah, worth every damn second.
And he says, all right, fuck it, I'm getting back in.
And
this
then
thing.
Crew gets back in, and they're like, oh, this fucking guy's coming back in
Yeah.
now, of course, whatever.
Fuck that, we're not doing that.
And then
They don't
let him
protect him.
He takes
At
a
all.
brutal sack.
Yeah.
They let him get fucking hit twice.
Twice.
Yeah. And then he's like, all right, fine.
I'll
If you're
do it
not
my
going to
fucking
help me,
self."
I'll do it my fucking self.
And then
breaks.
I remember it's 4th and 22.
Yeah.
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 And he like his fucking helmet comes off, but he jukes it, and then he runs and gets the first down.
Yeah.
And then he gets destroyed.
Yeah.
Gets first down and admits to throwing his last NFL game and tells the team that the warden is trying to frame him for
Right. He
caretaker's
finally admits.
death.
He says good. It's a good pep talk. He's like, fine. I never said it out loud. I'm gonna say it. I fucking did it.
Yep. And then
But he said, but the warden's trying to pin the murder on me, and I can't do it anymore.
he says, like, I'm not going to make the same mistake twice in a
Right.
lifetime.
Yeah.
And then he tries to get him to put the hands in, and then I think this is very showing because Deke is the first one to go and put his hand on him
Yep.
too, and then they all join in too. Because I definitely think like Deke's like also like kind of a team captain,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, like for
sure.
sure.
He,
And
he was probably captain in real life too.
I'm sure.
probably.
And then they pretty much immediately run the play in where Kali runs it in.
Yeah.
and
He has like 4 dudes on him. He
Yeah.
just keep
he
going.
scores a touchdown. And then the next scene, Battle causes a fumble, and they recover the ball.
And then
Oh,
the
no.
court-
So Battle causes a fumble, and then Torres is the one that has the ball,
Yeah.
but he can't get it, so he burns a guard with the cigarette.
Yeah.
Remember? Because he's
Yeah.
still smoking cigarettes in the middle of the fucking game.
Yeah.
And then this is where it cuts to Kevin Nash with the cheerleaders.
Yeah.
He's like up there dancing with them. And then Scarborough is like, I want Brucey to kick. Brucey, you can kick. And he's like, yeah, I can kick. I can kick the ball.
I
And,
can't really good. He's
Yeah.
like, bro, he fucking sucks.
and Battle's
But-
like, why did you put him in there? And
He's like, he's fucking shitty kick. I was like, yeah, fucking recover it.
yeah, he's like, exactly, recover the damn ball.
I put Bruce does a god awful onside kick, but the
But in the
convicts
middle,
recover the ball
In the center,
Yeah.
he wasn't on the side.
Yeah, I put Brucey goes to kick so they can get an onside kick. Cons get ball back, and then I just wrote LOL Brucey again. I don't know. Like,
And Nelly gets them to the 4-yard line and gets hit hard and it fucks his
Yep.
knee up.
yeah, I wrote Nelly is awesome but doesn't score. But I guess he goes out and time because they get the time back, like time
Yeah.
stops.
Yeah.
And then this is whenever the crowd gets behind the Mean Machine and they all start
Yeah.
chanting.
And then
Mean
because even before
Machine.
that, there's that one guy who's like getting really like the cheerleaders are dancing for the cons. And he's like, yeah, and the wife's like, fucking quit it.
Yeah.
like he's like the first guy to be like, I don't know, the cons team's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then
The
coach. This is whenever the coach
Yep.
joins.
Yep.
Nate
Yep.
Scarborough joins.
I put he's going in.
He says, like,
because
you
Adam
know-
Sandler's like, you're gonna get fucking
yeah.
creamed, dude.
Then we get the Rob Schneider cameo. The,
Yeah,
you can do it!
Yeah, you can do it. Get that ball in the end zone.
Too bad Rob Schneider kind of sucks now.
Yeah.
Coach gets in, and then he's the one that scores the touchdown.
Yeah.
And then they all have a little huddle, and they're like,
Yep.
"All right, do we go for the tie or do we go for the win?"
And then they're like, we're convicts, man. We're
Oh, I bet Paul hands the ball to Kali and Kali drops it, and Scarborough picks it up and scores the touchdown.
Yeah.
and he's like, we're convicts. We always go for it.
Well, yeah, he's like, we're confident we always go for it all.
Yeah.
And then,
It's like, guys, we're going for the 2 points.
because I wrote extra point, and then I said, no, they vote to go for the dub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
They win.
Scarborough draws this big ass plan. He's like, I got a plan. And like he's like, this will work, right? He's like,
Yeah.
yeah, it'll work. And then like they all go to the field. He's like, probably.
Yeah.
Because like Deke says this is some schoolyard bullshit. That ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
And he's like, we need some schoolyard bullshit to win this fucking game.
Yeah.
Because we also
that's what they've been doing the whole game.
We miss where they have the play where they have like the wall.
Yeah.
And they run it in. I don't know who does that.
Or like because I think it's what the last one they scored too is like they it's I think it's the play where Nelly almost goes all the way because
Yeah.
the whole offensive line goes to the left and like they're so confused they don't know what to do and then that one guy's like, was that legal? He's like, yeah it's legal.
The Cons get the 2-point conversion and win the game 36-35.
Crew gets the 2-point conversion for sure.
Yeah, because what they do is they basically pretend like they don't know what play they're running.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it's a cool little
Because they
trick.
They hike it to Deke, and
Yeah.
Deke throws the ball to Crew.
Yeah.
Because they're like you said, they're arguing, but he's still like onside.
Yep.
So they can call the play, and then he runs it in and gets a 2-point conversion.
Because even before that, they're like, they finally realize like, oh shit, it's a trick, and then he runs it in,
Oh,
and like
and then-
he gets sideswiped, but he's able to get the ball over the plane and get the 2 points.
And then when they win the game, Rob Schneider gets excited and say, "Group,
Group hug in the shower
We're
tonight.
in the shower tonight.
And everybody, like, everybody looked at him weird.
And then I wrote ... or not. And then Captain Knauer and Crew have a nice little moment
Yeah.
Yeah.
where he's like, "Hey, you played a hell of a game out there."
And I'll make sure the warden can't pin it on you.
Yeah, he says,
I know you had nothing to do with caretaker's
"Yeah, I know you had
murder.
nothing to do with Caretaker's murder." And then the warden's just a salty fuck,
Yeah.
and he's like bitching at Knauer and telling
he's
him
like,
like,
you couldn't even
yeah.
win a fixed game.
you couldn't even win a fixed game.
Which is a hard line, to be fair.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
like,
And then he sees Crew walking towards the gate.
yeah. He's like, oh, he's trying to escape. Shoot him. And he grabs the gun from the other guy and gives it to Canal and says, shoot him.
And then he's like, Crew! And
He's
he's
like,
like,
he's like trying to get him to stop.
thankfully, he like takes his time because then he sees that he's just getting the game ball.
He's just trying to grab the game ball. And he's like, he's just getting the game ball, man.
Yeah, and that's when Battle and Deacon dump the Gatorade on the Warden, and Warden goes, "That's a week in the hot box," and Battle goes, "Who gives a shit?"
But and also,
Before that, I like that too because he gives the game ball to him.
yeah, I was about to say that too. And he
Stick
says,
that in your trophy case.
"Why don't you stick this in your trophy case?"
Oh,
And then
fuck
they,
yeah.
"Who gives a shit?" And that's the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Yep. And I wrote, "Fire movie, do recommend." And then research also enjoyed this movie.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
this movie's awesome.
so I'll go ahead and rate it right now. It's a fucking 10.
It's a 10.
Yeah.
I even gave it a 5
10.
on Letterboxd.
Yeah,
It's a 10, man.
it's a tenner.
It's hilarious. It's a
Hilarious.
really good story. Good scene.
And just like
Yeah.
you said, even if you don't like football, it's a fun watch. Like,
Dude, it's so. I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
I think I said it at the beginning. I don't remember, but great fucking movie, dude.
It's so fucking
It
good.
gets me pumped to watch the NFL season.
right? I'm so
Yeah.
fucking stoked. Which starts today.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm so
Starts
pumped.
today. I'm pretty excited. Yeah.
Well, this comes out in the morning. It'll be later on tonight.
That's true tonight. But yeah, fuck
And
yeah.
it'll be the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Baltimore Ravens.
So it'll kind of be like the beginning of the game where it's fixed for a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, we all recommend this movie.
Yep.
We think it's been great.
We'll be back next week with another episode. As always, I've been Dylan.
I'm Kyle.
I've been James, and for one last time, this has been The Juice.